So what did you miss at Jubilee today? Last Sunday of the year, December 31st, what did you miss? Well, you missed a whole bunch of us in our pajamas and some ugly sweaters, house coats, slippers. We had coffee before the service. We had a lot of Timbits. I thought we should have a service that just was easy to roll out of bed, come, and then go home and roll back into bed. You know, that kind of between Christmas and New Year's where nobody's doing too much of anything. And a lot of people came in pajamas, and it was kind of great. And we sang and told the rest of the Christmas story. We tend to end when the baby Jesus is born, but we sang about Herod and the slaughter of the innocents. Seemed weird to sing about it, but we did. We sang a carol that includes that, and we heard the story from Luke of Simeon and Anna. We heard the promises from Isaiah. We even went so far ahead that we sang the Epiphany and the Three Kings. So we could finally say at the end of it all that we've done it. We've done Christmas. And so we celebrated having done Christmas. And then as I preached, I imagined a conversation that Jesus and I were having, sitting by Lake Ontario, looking out the lake that's wide and deep, overwhelming and inviting, mysterious and present. And we wondered if Christmas is not supposed to be exactly that. And we wondered whether people who came to services throughout Christmas, who engaged in Christmas, whether they got it. Did they get Christmas? Did they get the meaning of it? I imagined a conversation with Jesus in which he criticized my preaching, which always hurts. But Jesus asking me whether the people who heard me preach, the people who gathered to celebrate in our community, whether they got it. And we wondered together what the it is. And we realized when all is said and done, Christmas is not about a stable or a manger. It's not about a baby. It's not about Mary and Joseph even. It's not about proving one thing or another. It's recognizing that God happens here. In Luke's Gospel, Simeon, the old man who goes to the temple every day, holds this baby, and he knows. He knows the consolation of Israel. He knows that it's going to be okay. How does he know? This baby is not yet grown up, preached the Sermon on the Mount, has not come to a cross, has not been crucified, resurrected, none of that, and yet he knows. Because in that moment, he recognizes God's presence shining through the humanity of that baby, recognizing that the human and the divine are together and one. God happens here. It's a unique claim we make at Christmas. We don't say it the rest of the year, and other faiths don't say with what we say, but in that story, what we cherish, what we share is that God happens here. In a manger 2,000 years ago, and right now in our lives, God happens. And because God happens, because we can have that expectation of God's appearance, God's presence, then we know that we're not alone. So we don't have to be afraid to turn on the news. We don't have to be afraid to engage. We needn't be afraid to live or afraid to die. We can ally ourselves with love without fear because God happens here. So that's what we celebrated today amidst the Timbits and the pajamas and the bathrobes and the singing and the telling of stories. We celebrated that God happens here. And in that we found peace, just like Simeon. And so we can let go of 2017 and we can embrace 2018 and know that we are not alone, that it will get better, and we get to be part of it. So you missed hearing that today, but hopefully you know it. Hopefully you feel it in your heart, and I hope for you that you recognize that in your life, whether you know it or not, God happens. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, God bless and Happy New Year. We'll see you soon.